Coming up next on this special edition of Arizona Horizon's Journalists Roundtable, we look back on the past year and predict what's to come in 2016. It's our annual Journalists Roundtable year-end show next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Arizona Horizon's Journalists Roundtable. I'm Ted Simons. This is the annual year-end Roundtable prediction show. And joining us are Lori Roberts of the Arizona Republic, Howard Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Steve Goldstein of KJZZ Radio. Before our panel predicts what will happen in 2016, let's review the 2015 prognostications. Producer Steve Clausen has the recap.
Heading into 2015, politics took center stage, starting with the Phoenix mayoral election.
Will Greg Stanton be re-elected mayor?
I will say yes.
I think that the people are generally happy with the way the city is being run, and I don't see a lot of really credible challengers out there.
I think the voters will find that no real reason to kick him from office.
Mayor Greg Stanton was re-elected with 65% of the vote. Next, attention turned to the upcoming 2016 presidential election.
Hillary Clinton announced that she's running for president.
Yes. And she will announce it on Arizona Horizon. No, she won't.
Yeah, of course. You know, at this point, you've got to be raising the money. You really have to get in there, and I don't see anybody scaring her off.
I can't imagine a more certainty, a greater certainty than that Hillary would be running for president.
Hillary Clinton formally announced she was running for president on April 12th. Well, that wasn't a surprise. The question was, would any major challenger emerge?
Well, yes. I think that Elizabeth Warren is going to be drawn into it.
And I think that she'll make a strong challenge.
Joe Biden has to run.
On the Republican side, the focus at this time last year was on whether former Florida Governor Jeb Bush would enter the presidential race.
I don't see how he can back off now, and everybody's trying to psych each other out. And so, yeah, he wants to be out there early.
When push comes to shove, I don't think he will. I think he'll find a reason not to.
I agree with Doug. I think that the only sort of extremely conservative person we're going to see run on the Republican side is Chris Christie. It's either going to be Christie or Bush, and I think Christie will muscle Bush out.
Jeb Bush formally announced he was running for president June 15th. But the bigger question was, how many Republican candidates would eventually join the race?
By Iowa, I think we're going to see, or New Hampshire, you'll see about 6 serious candidates in there.
I'm going to say more than 6, because I think you're going to have those candidates, a former congressman sort of thing. You're going to have the equivalent to a Michelle Bachmann, who's a current member of Congress, who's going to run. I'll say 7.
I'll go 8.
At one point, 17 Republicans announced they were running for the White House. Here in Arizona, attention was already starting to build for the 2016 Senate race and whether John McCain would face a serious challenger.
If we're going to say a serious challenger is someone who is at least as viable as J.D. Hayworth was, then no.
I don't think announcing, but I think there are going to be some folks out there who are testing the water and figuring out, has he outlived his usefulness?
I think there will be. I think there's enough antipathy toward the senator that there will be. And so, yeah, I expect there will be.
State Senator Kelly Ward is challenging Senator McCain in the Republican primary, and Democratic Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick plans to run against McCain in the general election. On the state level, Arizona began 2015 with a new crop of elected officials, including Governor Doug Ducey.
Will Governor Ducey veto any bills?
I'm just going by the kumbaya that you're seeing now. I'm going to run with that and say no.
See, I'm not only going to say yes, but I'm going to say that the number is going to be 6.
I think there have to be a couple, because he can't completely look like a rubber stamp because too many people anticipate he's going to be that way.
Governor Ducey vetoed 20 bills in his first year. One of the big issues the state legislature faced was how to address the $317 million school shortfall.
There will be time payments of some kind. I'm guessing that it'll be in the range of maybe $35 million.
If Ducey has any smarts about him, he'll make a deal and say, I'll give you the reset of the base, just make that $1 billion go away.
I really like that answer a lot. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but I think that's a terrific prediction. I'll go with Howie on that.
The Arizona legislature approved a package of bills that will go to voters in a May special election. As for the legislature, when did our panel predict the session would wrap up in 2015?
I'm going to say April the 27th.
I think it's going to be closer to May 15th.
I'm going to say the first week of May.
The Arizona legislature adjourned sine die April 3rd. Next, our panel was asked about the relationship between President Obama and the Republican-controlled Congress.
How many vetoes, Doug, will President Obama issue?
I'll say total vetoes, maybe 30.
I think there'll be 5 or 6. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 30.
I'm going to say around 15. I think what Doug is saying, there are going to be some major things that come up, maybe 3 major and 15 total.
President Obama issued 3 vetoes in 2015, giving him 5 total for his nearly 7 years in office. One of President Obama's signature accomplishments, though, faced an uncertain future heading into 2015.
What will the U.S. Supreme Court decide regarding Obamacare?
I think that the court is going to rule against it.
I think the court is going to say, look, the intent of the legislation was clearly that everybody gets the subsidy. So I think the court leaves that one alone.
As far as the exchange is concerned, I
Yes.
agree with Howie. I think ultimately in 2015, I don't see it being overturned.
In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that the Affordable Care Act authorized federal tax credits for eligible Americans living not only in states with their own exchanges, but also in the 34 states with federal marketplaces. And speaking of the Supreme Court, would it finish the year with the same 9 justices that started the year?
Supreme Court vacancy, we're going to see one in 2015? Yay or nay?
I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg is stronger than people think, so I will say no.
I think one, because I think that perhaps some of the folks there want Obama to make the replacement.
I think Steve's right. I think that Ruth is pumping iron in the gym right now.
Finally, our panel is always asked for a long shot and sure thing prediction.
We're going to see a lot more of Bill Montgomery around the Capitol because of his relationship with Doug Ducey. That is my sure thing. My long shots, I have 2, Ted.
Okay.
One is increasing the rivalry between ASU and Grand Canyon. ASU will fire head coach, basketball coach Herb Sendek, and Dan Marley will be the next head coach of ASU. My other long shot is, as of developments earlier in the month of December, next U.S. ambassador to Cuba is Jeff Flake.
We sort of hinted we're not getting out of here in 65 days no matter what Andy Biggs has been smoking. My semi-sure shot is that the recall against Diane Douglas will fail.
Sure thing. I really do believe that Elizabeth Warren will form an exploratory committee. I think that the stock market, you will see the stock market below where it is at the end of this year.
And now it's time to reveal this year's winner. Both Doug McCackern and Steve Goldstein finished with 8 points. Howie Fisher won the 2015 competition with 9 points.
And congratulations, Howie, on your 1-point win. Would you like to say something? Okay, that's good enough.
That's good enough. Yes, thank you.
We also want to welcome Lori Roberts to the panel. Lori takes over for Doug McCackern, who retired from the Republic earlier this year. Welcome.
Thank you. Big boots to fill.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we will start with you, and let's get it going here. We're going to start with the presidential politics. The Republican presidential nominee, who's it going to be?
Well, I think early on it's going to look like Ted Cruz, but I think ultimately it will be Marco Rubio. People will want someone who is generally electable in a general election.
Republican nominee.
I like the idea of starting with Cruz, but I think that Cruz is eventually going to not only win the Arizona primary, but also is going to ultimately be the party's pick.
What do you think, Steve?
Doesn't look like it right now, but based on money, which talks, Jeb Bush will outlast the rest.
Jeb Bush is going to come from behind, huh?
That's what I see, Ted.
Oh,
My
okay.
murky crystal ball.
All right, well, go back to your crystal ball. The Democratic presidential nominee.
Secretary Clinton will win.
Okay, what do you think, Howie?
Yeah, I mean, money, power, name ID. I mean, unless she gets indicted for something she did as Secretary of State, I'd say she's the nominee.
Anyone going to feel the burn? Is it going to be?
I think it's going to be Hillary.
Okay. With that, we'll start with you on this one. Who wins the presidency?
Ooh. I'm going to have to give the edge to whoever the Republican is. I think Hillary is damaged goods. I think a lot of Democrats are not going to turn out for her. I think that they're swallowing hard even just to pick her. But again, if we get Trump as a nominee, then Hillary's the next president.
I say Jeb Bush is going to win narrowly, in part because he's going to win Florida.
Jeb Bush not only will win the Republican primary, he will be the next president, says Steve Goldstein.
That is what I'm saying.
That's bold. You know that. That's bold. What do you think, Lori?
I think it will probably be the Republican nominee. The issue right now, and I think will be the issue in 2016, is terrorism. Do we feel safe? And I think given that, people will tend toward the Republican. Now, all bets are off if Trump gets in as a third-party nominee, and I officially renounce my prediction.
The phrase "all bets are off," we don't use that on the journalists here, just so you know. I know you're new here, but we just don't use that one.
Right.
Okay, so electoral votes. What's the winner going to get?
It's going to be close. I'm going to say 287.
What do you think, Al?
I don't. Well, given the states that are going to make a difference, I think it'll be closer to 295.
Interesting. What do you think?
I think based on Florida and Ohio, I've got it at 276.
Okay. All right. Closer to home, U.S. Senate race, Arizona U.S. Senate race. Who wins?
I think Senator McCain gets another one.
Okay. You agree with that?
John McCain. He's got all the money. He's got the name ID. And again, foreign policy, a big issue.
I think how do you bet against the guy? I mean, he's got an interesting primary race, and he's clearly not going to lose to Kelly Ward, but and Ann Kirkpatrick can be a strong candidate. But again, when you've got this much in the bank in December, and the guy now chairs a committee, which means he can stand there with his hands out.
All right, let's go to the congressional delegation. The party breakdown here, what do you see?
I think it's going to be 5-4 Republican.
Steve?
I think we're going to stay the same way we're at, Ted. I think whoever Kirkpatrick's seat will go to the Democrat.
Okay.
And I think it will go 6-3. I think whoever gets that nomination, it will be a Republican district.
So you're seeing
CD1.
a Republican surge here come next year, November.
I do. I do think that a lot of what's happening right now and the way people are feeling is making people very nervous with the status quo. I don't think a lot of people feel like the Obama administration has been hard enough or done enough to secure us in our shopping malls and in the other places of business. I think fear will win, and I think because Donald Trump has set that as the issue, that will be the thing.
Let's go back to with Donald Trump. Let's go back to the presidential race real quick. Will Donald Trump win a state primary?
I think he will win South Carolina.
I think he'll win several state primaries, and again, some of it becomes people are scared, and he's telling them what they think they want to hear. I know that sounds funny, but that really is it. And then the facts don't seem to matter.
You think he's going to win?
No, I don't think he'll win South Carolina because I think that the religious point of view will come in there and Ted Cruz will win that. I think it's one thing to say to a pollster that you're going to elect this guy to put his hand on the nuclear bomb. It's another thing to cast that ballot for him. I do not think he will win a primary, but I think he'll come in close on a couple.
Okay, so you say he's going to get shut out. All right, Congressional District 1 in Arizona. Republican, Democratic, what do we got here? Who's going to face whom?
Well, first of all, I'm really bumpy on this one, but after looking at the candidates, I have to put that mirror selfie out of my mind and say Paul Babiou is going to win on the Republican side, and Tom O'Halloran's going to win on the Democratic side and ultimately win the seat.
You think O'Halloran wins overall?
Because of Babiou's sort of background. Yeah.
Okay, what do you got, Howie?
Ditto. I think it's a good prediction.
Babiou against Halloran with O'Halloran winning it?
O'Halloran winning it based on the fact that Babiou, again, will the Republicans support him? Is he their guy?
What do you think, Lori?
I think O'Halloran will be the Democratic nominee. I think that Gary Keeney will win. He has money. He came in a close second last time around to Andy Tobin, and he's somebody who actually has lived in the district for a while. Isn't that a novel idea in CD1, that you actually come from CD1?
All right, he had some stumbling blocks last go around. He said some things that weren't necessarily proper, but you think he's past all that, or does it matter?
I think he does. I think he has money.
Okay, to reiterate that. All right, Howie, will Democrats take over the U.S. House?
I don't see any way they can do that. I think this is a Republican year. Lori hit it on the head. Terrorism is the issue, and the Democrats are seen as soft on terrorism, soft on crime, and everything else. I don't see any way that's going to happen.
Lori?
No.
No way.
No.
Steve, what do you think? Would Democrats, they had a shot?
Way too many seats to make up, Ted. No way.
Okay, what about the Senate? Will the Republicans keep the Senate?
Republicans will keep the Senate, yes.
What do you think, Howie?
Same thing. Again, it's given that kind of year.
Republicans will keep the Senate.
All right, interesting. All right, we have a little bit of a theme going here. We'll see how it works out on next year's show. Initiatives on the 2016 ballot in Arizona. How many?
I'm guessing that we will end up with marijuana, I'm not sure in terms of anything else. Paul Johnson is talking about an initiative along with Terry Goddard, 2 separate measures there. I think we'll end up with those 3.
Okay, and again, we're not talking referrals from the legislature here. Initiatives on the ballot.
Those 3, and I think there's going to be a 4th. And I was looking at the list. I'm going to go with 4, just to be a little bit contrarian to Howie.
We got 3 and we got 4. Lori, what do
I'm
you
going
got?
to go with 5 because I think that there'll be the minimum wage thing put on the ballot by the unions. I think that you will have the dark money initiative, you will have a top 2 primary initiative, and then there'll be some wild card thing out there that we may not even know about yet.
Do you think, that, just out of curiosity, do you think marijuana will make the ballot?
Yes, I think it will make the
Okay,
ballot.
will it pass?
No, I do not believe it will. It will be close. It was close on medical marijuana, and I think it's not going to pass.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I'm with Lori on this one. I think it's going to be very close, but you're going to get enough people who think medical marijuana is a real thing, they believe in it, and they're going to say, this is a little bit too much of an effort to just legalize, so everyone eventually can have it. And I don't think people are comfortable with that yet.
All right, child of the 60s, what do you think?
I think they're both right because of the fact that when the medical marijuana measure passed, the prosecutors were quiet and silent, didn't spend any money. And this time I think they're going to spend a lot of money, and they're going to point at all the tiny little things in there about workplace environment and everything else that'll make enough people question whether do we want to go this way.
Interesting. All right, we have a special election in May on the education funding, settling the lawsuit, extra funding, these sorts of things. What are voters going to do?
Well, they're going to pass it, and I think that it's going to be close to a 2-to-1 margin. I mean, at this point, even Jeff DeWitt, I don't think is going to go ahead and wage an anti-campaign. I don't see an organized anti-campaign on this thing. Obviously, there'll be folks raising questions about how the money will be used, but when you're going to have ads with teachers standing there with children saying, this is for us. How do you vote against that?
Yeah. Governor Ducey has played this masterfully, the way he has done this, and we've proven in the past with the special election when Governor Brewer was out front of the temporary tax increase, voters tend to want education, and they like having governors in front of these things backing it.
What do you think, Lori?
I think it will pass for 2 reasons. One, something's better than nothing, and nothing is what the schools are otherwise going to get in terms of inflation funding, and also taxpayers won't have to pay for it. I think that Arizona voters are renowned for passing things when there's not a tax associated with it or some way that they have to pay for it. Look at First Things First. We got that because it was a tobacco tax. I don't have to pay it for it, so yeah, I'm a yes. It'll
All
pass.
right, with that,
Big.
everyone agrees it's going to pass. Okay, so we'll start with you, Lori. Give me a percentage, the winning percentage.
72%.
Holy smokes. All right, Howie, what do you say?
Oh, I'll go with 66.666%.
Okay, that's good for you, Howie. Okay, what do you think?
I'm going to go slightly lower. I'm going to go about 64%.
64, okay, because we got to break it up. We got to get a winner.
Price
if
is right,
everyone's-
Ted.
Yeah.
Yes.
But who's going to be against it?
Oh, there are people who will vote no on everything. I mean, I remember a guy who was dead when he ran against Bruce Babbitt. He got 17% for just being dead.
That's an interesting way to go about it. I like that idea. All right, legislature, adjourned, sine die. Howie, we start with you. When's it going to happen?
Oh, I think it'll be a little later this year. A lot of it is the May 17th election coming up. Do they want to wait until that happens just to see what occurs there? So I'm guessing somewhere around 26th of May.
Even though a lot of folks say not much is going to happen during, I keep hearing the session, they're going to be waiting around for this and then not much is going to happen because of that.
I think that's just the nature of it. I think last year they shoved through some stuff artificially fast, and now they said, wait, how did we go from a $1 billion deficit? We had $800 million in the bank because nobody told us the numbers, and I don't think they want to do that again.
Steve, what say you?
I'm going to go May 4th, and I'll say that if they need to come back for a special session for some reason, they will after the 17th.
Lori?
I'm going to say January 20th. Oh, wait. You didn't want a suggestion. You wanted a prediction.
No.
Okay, I'm going to say April 22nd.
April 22nd?
Because I think that they're going to want to get the heck out of town and get to running for office
That's
again.
true. It
Because
is an
that's their
election
number
year,
one
yeah.
concern, always,
And
always.
That always plays a factor. Steve, as far as the Republican and Democratic breakdown, start with the House. What are you seeing?
I don't see much change. I see 36-24 in the House, and if you don't mind, I'll see 18-12 in the Senate.
I don't mind. Howie, what do you say
of
for
course,
House and Senate?
Well, now you've got this funny little switch that occurred this year where all of a sudden Carlisle Begay said, hey, I've always been a Republican. I think that it will go back to what it was because I think Begay is not electable as a Republican. So I think it'll go back to what it was before. And so it'll be the status quo.
Status quo, okay.
For the same reasons Howie gave, I think it will be 17-13 in the Senate. It'll be 34-26 in the House status quo.
So not much going to change at all?
Well, some of the faces will change,
Yeah,
but
but-
most of our districts are set. This is what we call gerrymandered
I was
districts.
going to say, what happened to the Independent Redistricting Commission? Wasn't that supposed to change all this, Lori?
It was supposed to change all of this. If they just listened to me.
All right. Steve, we'll start with you. Sheriff Joe Arpaio. That's Sheriff Joe to you.
Yeah.
Does he win re-election?
There's someone on this panel who earlier this month wrote a column about a potential opponent of Sheriff Joe Arpaio. I still think, Ted, he's going to pull it out. I don't think that Judge Snow's decision is going to affect enough voters, and I don't think he's going to be in jail, so I'm going to say he wins.
You know, how do you bet against a guy who says the things he says? He's the Donald Trump of Maricopa County and still manages to get this support. I mean, I'm assuming he's sheriff for another 4 years until they take him out of there in a box.
America's toughest sheriff going to survive this next round?
It depends on who, if anyone, runs. If one good candidate runs against him and not in a Republican primary, that being if somebody like U.S. Marshal David Gonzales decides to run as an independent, I think that he will win, but only if nobody else gets into the race.
So is it Gonzales or Arpaio? Is that what you're saying, basically?
That's if it's a Gonzales versus Arpaio race in the general election. I think that David Gonzales will win.
But everyone else will lose. Anyone else who gets into the race would lose to Arpaio.
Anybody else I've heard of a name will.
Okay,
I mean, if
all
it's Phil Gordon, yeah, I think Phil is probably going to lose.
Dan Sabin?
Possibly in part because he has no law enforcement experience to run a law enforcement agency.
Sabin?
No.
Okay. Will the Arizona Diamondbacks make the playoffs?
Your hometown club has spent a lot of money, Ted. I will
Yes.
say yes.
So you said they're going to make the playoffs?
Yes, they will make the playoffs.
Lori, we'll go with you next.
Well, they stole somebody away from the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are supposed to be pretty good, aren't they? So because I'm a fan, I say, darn yes.
All right, Howie.
I'm going to be the contrarian and say, you can spend a lot of money, you cannot buy your way into the playoffs.
So with 2 All-Stars in the starting rotation, you're still saying no dice.
No dice.
How about the Suns? Will the Suns make the playoffs?
That's a harder one. I think, with the system actually that they've got, almost a lot of teams do make the playoffs. I think they at least get to the first round.
All right. Steve?
Ted, as a Phoenix boy, as you know, I take this very, very seriously, very emotional. The answer, again, I will be crying no. They will not make the playoffs.
No playoffs for the Suns.
No,
Lori?
they won't make the playoffs.
They won't make the playoffs.
Nobody even pays attention to the Suns anymore, do they?
Yes, they do, Lori. They do. All right. Time for our long shot, sure thing prediction. And Lori, we're going to have you go last on this because this is your first year here, and I want you to see kind of how it works. Steve, we'll start with you since you usually have the boldest
Oh my gosh.
of the predictions.
Such pressure.
Long shot, sure thing.
Okay, Ted, sure thing is that we're going to see at least one, if not more, but definitely one former member of the Corporation Commission, now with all the Susan Bittersmith stuff, announce or in early January that he and or she will be running for the Corporation Commission again after many years off the panel. It's my
That's a sure thing?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Long shot is, after much hemming and hawing, we're going to see a couple of things. One is we're going to see Doug Ducey as a finalist to be Vice President of the United States. He will not make it. He will be in the final 3. We will hear that. And as a quick addendum to that, Diamondbacks will make the playoffs because they will fire manager Chip Hale. Tony La Russa will come from above and be the manager.
Oh, that is bold. I love that one. I don't know if I like the idea, but I love the thought behind it.
Such is life, right?
Yeah. Howie?
Well, first of all, as far as your sure shot, Bill Mundell basically has already said he's running.
I said at least one.
At least one. Okay, Bill Mundell's already said he's running, so that's nice. I think in terms of a sure shot, I think the Supreme Court is going to look at the redistricting case that we heard earlier this year, and they're going to decide if they open the door to this challenge, it's Katie bar the door, and they don't want to do that, so I think they're going to let the district stand. In terms of a couple of long shots, I think Kelly Ward gets perhaps 35% of the vote in the Republican primary. And I'm going to do a repeat of what somebody did last year. I think Jeff Flake as ambassador to Cuba is a wonderful idea.
Wow. So you're going with that one again, huh?
Yeah, so that was his.
I know it was.
You're going to kiss the ring.
I'm going to kiss the ring.
All right. Lori?
All right. Short term, I think that while our schools will remain underfunded and the legislature will do nothing to remedy that situation, they will do at least one more tax cut this coming year. Because that's a for sure thing.
That's a sure thing,
yeah.
yes.
And for my long term, I'm going to say that no member of the Corporation Commission who is on the 2016 ballot will be reelected.
Oh, that's a bold one, too. A complete fire sale, huh?
Yep. People are going to pay attention this year.
I was going to say, well,
And I'll add another one. I'll say that Doug Ducey will come to understand the concern that Arizonans have about dark money in this state, watching what APS is widely believed to have done in buying those seats, and he will come to the conclusion that we need to reform dark money.
Oh no, I'm not going to. I think
They're
that
long
you're
shots,
way-
Howie.
shot.
You
It's
don't
way,
question
way-
a long shot, Howie.
You do know what elected this guy, right?
I
right.
do, but that's why it's called a long shot, and it's
Okay.
also wishful thinking.
Yes.
And
Bless
with
you.
that, we thank you all, and we will see what we will see. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.